You've heard good things about it. Should you read it? Is it worth the money? Is it worth your time? I'll let you know at the end.
Where are the girls with the book in the club, with the reading glasses on, getting shook in the club, reading Ta-Nehisi Coates, humming Spotty Yachty Dope, with the wild, let them drag me here, look in the club.
Hey everybody, Ms. Malcolm Hughes again, back with a long-awaited, for me at least, book review. So today we are reviewing Children of Blood and Bone. I talked about this a while ago. This is one of the most beautiful book covers I have ever seen, period. I think it is beautifully and masterfully done. So the big question for me was, does the book live up to the hype, right? You see it in a store, it's like alarming how gorgeous it is. So you want to go pick it up. You've heard good things about it. Should you read it? Is it worth the money? Is it worth your time? I'll let you know at the end. But to start off, the story is about a young woman named Zelly who is charged with bringing magic back to her people. It's a small task, simple things. The Orishan people are divided into two sects. You have the Magi, which are the people who are meant to wield the magic of the gods. You have the Kosadan, which are the non-magical individuals. All of these people are Orishan. Also, this takes place in Nigeria, which really made me think of Yoruba and Igbo, and just the division there. I could be completely wrong. If you know different, let me know below. Zelly's people, the Magi, have been subjugated by the king, who is a Kosadan, because he feels that magic took away his first family, the family who he actually loved. So the book begins with this, I can't really call it a poem, but it's Zelly speaking of her mother, and that becomes significant throughout, so I'll read that. I try not to think of her, but when I do, I think of rice. When Mama was around, the hut always smelled of jollof rice. I think about the way her dark skin glowed like the summer sun, the way her smile made Baba come alive, the way her white hair fuzzed and coiled, an untamed crown that breathed and thrived. I hear the myths she would tell me at night, Zan's laughter when they played Agbon in the park, Baba's cries as the soldiers wrapped a chain around her neck, her screams as they dragged her into the dark, the incantations that spewed from her mouth like lava, the magic of death that led her astray. I think about the way her corpse hung from that tree. I think about the king who took her away. So you walk into the book with that weight, that heaviness, and that understanding, right? So again, we do follow the story of Zelly and everything she has to endure and go through to get magic back. Here's where things get interesting. We know that Zelly is a warrior. It opens up with her at her secret women's or young girls warrior camp. She's preparing for her big match. That's how her day starts. This is the most stressful thing for her day. She wants to win this match. She wants to be like the top student. She wants to graduate. So we also learn and we get to see some of the injustices just by men coming in. You get to feel the penetrable threat of the warriors, their corruptness, how one grabs her body. And because the woman who owns the facility, it's presented as a sewing studio to teach young girls, but she's really training them how to fight. So they rush and they put all their tools away. They pull out the materials they're using for the facade, and they're telling her that she has to pay taxes again, but she just paid taxes. And these are Magi taxes specifically for them, or they call them maggots. That's the offensive term that they use for them. The non-magical folks use it for the magical folks who are no longer magical, but they still have their magical features. They're darker skin. They have this white hair. So that indicates that they are of magical descent. So he tells her that there's a new tax specifically for them. She has to pay. She doesn't have the money. She gives him what she has. She has no more. He says, I'll take it from these girls and I'll start with this one. And he grabs Zelly because Zelly is naturally and inherently defiant. So she is vocal about the fact that this is wrong. This is an injustice. This isn't right. And just his nature, and just it takes one of the other guards who is of darker skin, and it's even hinted at that maybe he remembers his mother when he sees these individuals, or possibly another family member. So he kind of steps up and he's like, we should go, essentially. So that just sets up the dynamic, which is what we observe throughout the rest of the book. So this is where things turn. So I told you at the beginning of the story, her biggest issue for the day was to pass the test and graduate, right? Her battle and graduate. Her brother rushes in, says it's bye-bye. They get back. The father is out drowning, right? He's out in the water. He's old. They have a boat. They're trying to sell things. That's what their town does. So I feel like a fisherman port, right? So they're selling materials. I really thought of Haiti when I read that, but that may have not been the semblance. But that's what they do. So they get there, the brother goes out and saves the father. The sister, everyone's panicking. She's like, I can't lose him too. Like, I've already lost mother. She felt like it was her fault because she was supposed to be staying with him and watching him, but she went to class. It was this whole affair. The brother saves the father, right? And they ask him once he finally comes to, like, what were you doing? Why did you go out there alone? He's like, I had to go. I had to. They're like, why? He's like, I had to pay the taxes. The brother was like, we just paid taxes 2 weeks ago. He's like, it's a new tax. I couldn't afford it. They say if we can't afford it, they're going to send Zelly to the stocks, which is basically where you go when you're going to die, right? It's hard labor. It's challenging. You're essentially what it really was. It reminded me of sharecropping. Like, you're supposed to be working the debt off, but as you're there, fees are getting added on. It's running your body through the mills. You're probably gonna die there, right? So the father didn't want that to happen. Now, mind you, I told you this is a fisherman port. So Zelly's like, I'll go to Lagos, right? I'll go to Lagos, which is the capital city, which is where the king lived, the wealthier folks live. So she's like, they have these really unique fish that they've caught. So she's like, I'll go there, I'll sell it, we'll get so much money. So eventually, the decision is that she'll go. The father makes the brother go with her to make sure, like, she's safe for as much as he can protect her, right? While there, the brother stays outside of the walls. She goes within the walls to sell the fish. This is where things gets tricky. She has sold the fish. It's a whole affair. You have to read it. It's a great story. She has sold the fish. She's getting ready to head out. She has enough money to pay taxes for a year at least. More money than the family has ever had. So she's feeling really successful because Zelly doesn't always get it right? So she's like, yeah, I did it. Yes. And then some girl grabs her in a panic. Help me escape, please. And Zelly is like, whoa, what's going on? Mind you, the market is in a frenzy because everyone's looking for this girl. Zelly has no idea that it's the princess, right? But mind you, I told you, Zelly has been in training. She's a warrior, she's a protector naturally. So even if she wants to just go, she can't, right? She has an innate, like, she has to, like, aid her if she can. So it's a whole affair. I don't want to give too much away, so just know that that's the princess is trying to escape the castle. She is taking something that will bring magic back, right? So Zelly ends up touching this thing. Her magical powers come back. It's this whole thing, and then they go on this journey to bring magic back, and they go through challenges because of it. There's so many ups and downs because of it, but the story is beautiful, right? The author, I may say her name wrong, apologies in advance. Tomi Adeyemi is how I'm going to say it, how I'm pronouncing it. She's done a masterful job of painting this full fantasy world of magic, and it's just, I don't want to make this comparison, but I have to, because it's just so huge and it has this whole fandom, and I'm a part of that fandom. Just in creating a world as fantastical as Harry Potter. It's just a completely different universe, and she's building this fabulous story. Going in, I didn't know that the story was going to have a sequel, so I was hoping it was going to be wrapped up in a bow. It didn't, because there is at least another story coming. This book has also been picked up to be made into a film, so it really took off, which it no doubt deserves. Final comparison to Harry Potter. Anyone who's had a conversation with me about J.K. Rowling, I will tell you that, first of all, I'm a major Harry Potter fan, but as far as story development and as far as J.K. Rowling's abilities and skill as a writer, I think that we all treasure the Sorcerer's Stone or the Philosopher's Stone because it was the first book. But personally, I will tell you, I don't really feel like she honed her pen and became a really good writer, like a really good writer until book 3. I don't think she became a masterful, great writer until book 5. And after that, it was just working with fire. You weren't touching her. Harry Potter, it was solidified, right? For me, personally, my opinion. And I will say that Children of Blood and Bone, if I'm doing that standard, I think that she starts off at book 3, right? There's still room to grow, but just this story and the way it was developed, It's so masterfully done. The writing is profound. It grabs you literally while reading it. I'm just transported into an entirely different universe, and I'm so invested in these characters and their development. It's the outcome of their journey. It's magical, it's whimsical, it's well thought out, it has a message, and it takes you on this roller coaster ride, and it drops you in a place of uncertainty. If I had one frustration with the book, it's just that the way that it ended. I wanted a nice bow. I didn't know that it was gonna be another sequel. So for me, I was just like, I have 3 theories about the ending of this book, right? And I just have to wait. I don't know when it's coming. Hopefully this year. I just don't know. I just don't know. But it's amazing. I can't say that enough. I think everyone should read it. I was talking to a colleague about it at work. She had seen it. She had seen me carrying it, wanted to know more about it. I was talking to her about it. Someone was walking by and heard and was like, oh my, that's my favorite book. This is a new book. It just came out. So that just speaks to the profoundness of it. Also, I think it does what every good book can do. It includes multiple layers without it feeling forced upon you, and it does it naturally, right? There are multiple romances that occur, but they do not overshadow the story. And I felt chills reading some of those scenes, because if you've ever been in love, if you've ever began the stages of like that new love, the intensity of it, I felt those emotions running through me, just the memory of those while reading this. And that's not an easy thing to do. You may be able to describe it, but to actually make me feel the sensations, the muscle memory within myself was amazing. There is the family conflict. There's some Shakespearean like undertones. Not that it's anything Shakespeare, just the depth of like romance amongst families that are not allies, right? And the potential danger of that. I thought that was beautifully done. There's fighting, there's magic, there's a world that you're transported to, there is beautiful writing, there's beautiful details. It's funny because sometimes I like a lot of details because I like how this may look, but here you're kind of really it's left to your imagination, which is really nice. But I do want to see how they will transfer this movie to film. Like, there's enough detail for you to imagine it, but not so much so that I would go to the movies and be like, that's not how it was in the book. But I do wonder if I will say that's not how I imagine it in my mind. But I think the story's brilliant. I think it's beautiful. I think she's created a wonderful, wonderful book. I'm invested. I want to see where this will go. I want to see who made it, who didn't. There are just so many questions that I have. Is magic back? Is magic not back? Were they successful? Did they fail? And then if you're gauging success, is what you sacrifice to get it worth it? I think is another thing that we'll really open up with in the next book. This is my prediction. But yeah, I think it's a beautiful story. I think it's masterfully done. I would 100% recommend reading the book. I'll probably read it again. Again, not a small compliment coming from me, because I read a lot of books. So if I'm dedicating the time to go back to a book, that just speaks to the quality of it and the genius of it. So a grade of A to F, definitely an A, solid A. I want to give it an A+, but just because I know it's the second one coming, I want to see where it goes. But this itself is a solid A. All right, y'all, so moving on. Thank you all who have already purchased the button. I really appreciate it. Also, one thing I want to highlight. So I'm wearing, if you can, I'm gonna jump. So there's an Ailey 60 is what it says on my shirt. So it's Black History Month, y'all. Black History fact. So Alvin Ailey was started in 1958. It is the first all-black dance company in America, still going strong. 2018 was their 60-year anniversary. I went to see them recently. They're traveling. They're right now. I would 100% recommend it. Such a beautiful experience. So it's the 2018-2019 year is the 60 year, so definitely go see it. Like, worth it in every way. What do we have next? Still have the Killmonger comic book series review coming out. The next big read is actually Black Leopard Red Wolf by Marlon James. Some of you may recall that I reviewed A Brief History of 7 Killings by him recently, and I love that book. I'm really excited about this one. Again, I'm really into like Afrofuturism and fantasy right now. So the Children of Blood and Bone had that. This has that. I'm really excited to delve in. Again, another beautiful color, beautiful cover with all the colors. So I actually got to meet him recently as well, so I'll talk about that during the review of this book. I'm really excited for the books I have coming for y'all. Again, we did just have the book giveaway, so if you missed it, there will be more giveaways in the future. So make sure to have your eyes out for that. But yeah, I'm thinking about doing one for Women's History Month, so keep your eyes out, keep your eyes out. But yeah, that's everything for today. I hope that everyone is feeling wonderful and enjoying 2019, and even though it's flying by, I hope we are all doing well and receiving everything our hearts desire. As always, remember to give time and to have the best day of your life on purpose. Until next time, y'all, peace.
Pretty, witty, girly, whirly, one who likes to party but come home early.